Bart, that's a long intro, man.
I tell you what, you just took all my bullet points. There's nothing else for me to say.
That's right. Now we can just talk football.
I can turn my iPhone on.
We can just talk football.
First of all, let me start with saying that is the prettiest set of hair.
You like that? Thank you.
It's 3 guys I can think of that had you, Jimmy Johnson, and maybe Marino, man. I put it up there.
Wow. That's pretty good.
Those some good locks, my friend.
Now how about this
Teen
part?
wolfish a little
bit. We pick football games all year.
Yeah.
So the worst one had to get their hair dyed. That was me, which is what you see. We all wanted him because how would that hair look jet black?
You saw, look how good Michael looks.
It would frame my face. Listen, I remember the show. I'm a huge fan. I listen to you guys every day.
Well, thank you very much.
I really do. But, of course, because certain circumstances, I couldn't,
Of course, you work for CBS,
but I tune in. I'm a fan. I think you guys are very entertaining. I love the addition of Peter Rosenberg.
You do.
I think he brings a different perspective.
Don hates it.
But he brings a different perspective, right? He's from a totally different world. He's kind of like the voice of the streets.
Yep.
And myself as well, I'm a huge fan of wrestling. I have a championship belt that was given out from the CFO from WWE. I always like to say WWF.
Right.
It's WWE. Come on.
Right.
Wrestling's real.
Worldwide, federation, World Wildlife, right? They sued them and got the name.
Yeah, I tell you what, but we both, sharing that. So now we can get to the other stuff. What else you want to talk about? How
about what Giselle said today? Did you hear what she said?
I did.
Now, he had never been listed on a report as having a concussion, and she said, he's had a lot of them.
Yeah.
He's never listed ever of having a concussion. So is it just the wife who's being chatty, or does she know something and doesn't care?
It's chatty, and she should know better by now, and sometimes, our significant others take liberties. A lot of times we saw with Donovan McNabb, mom before, let the athlete be the athlete. But I just think she got comfortable being on television and just spilt the beans. And now I think the Patriots are going to, get in crisis mode and have to say, hey, we didn't do this. Because, the NFL would take a draft pick from you. So sometimes, I should always tell my wife, see, you probably don't even know I was married, right?
No, I didn't.
Exactly. Yeah. Because, listen, be seen, not heard. No, I'm just playing, baby. I love you.
I don't know.
If my wife don't play, I'm sorry. Dardisha Scott, I love you. Don't change the locks. I was just playing. It's just entertainment.
Yeah. It's interesting, though, because you look at this situation, and she doesn't want him to play that much longer. So maybe she's
be planting some seeds.
She makes big coin, too.
Yeah, he has a sugar mommy. I mean, he's done well from coming from a 6th-round draft pick. I think it's always better in our significant others as well. They see the day after. You talk about, what happens with boxers. The day after isn't pretty. It usually takes about 3 to 4 days to heal back up just to be in a position to go to work.
So along those lines, Bart, what do you think of the LeVar Ball situation where Daddy just can't shut up?
You know what? It's just one of those things. I think the Ball situation is he's trying to the squeaky wheel gets the oil, and I think he's just trying to ring the bell, much like we saw with Tiger Woods' dad. We also saw it with Venus and Serena's dad. And he's bringing attention, but that also puts the pressure on the son to perform. And if his dad's been talking like that his entire life, it's just white noise to him. And if he performs,
right.
But if he doesn't perform, it's going to be tough. And you talk about him potentially going to the Lakers. That's a huge media market. Can he handle the stress if things don't go according to plan? If he gets injured early in his career, will guys be patient enough? Nobody's going to give him the benefit of the doubt, and then he has nobody to blame but his dad. But if it works out, and if he is what his dad has advertised him as, then it's a lot of money. It's a lucrative opportunity for the family.
I think it's tough in team sports. Like you gave the examples of the Williams sisters and Tiger Woods. Those were individual sports, so it kind of was on them. But we're talking about relationships with teammates. We're talking about whether an NBA team would want to draft him knowing dad's going to come along for the ride. Yeah. So it isn't just about you. It's about relationships, too, that could hurt you. So I think it might be even more difficult in a team sport than an individual one.
I mean, I think some of the comments as far as, what he said about the white players, in the tournament and things like that, could affect the relationship with the teammates. But I don't think, if you know your teammate, you just know he just has an ignorant dad or his dad's crazy. We've all been around people that have loopy parents, right? But if you know the kid and the kid shows humility, then you accept him as him, and his dad just comes with a package. I mean, we look at some of the basketball players. I forget down in Miami, his wife.
Grimes,
Bosh. Right? Grimes.
Bosh's wife was chatty, too.
Right, and Grimes, right? Grimes' wife almost got him kicked out of a job. You think about...
the Dolphin player, yes.
Exactly. Exactly.
She did get him kicked out of a job.
But you understand that it's a difference between me and my wife, and the wife, sometimes they spout out, hey, listen, like I said, I have my household in check, as far as I know.
We're talking with Bart Scott. He's going to be part of the Taste of the Jets tomorrow. We'll get into that in a moment. Today's opening hour of the Michael K. Show on 98.7 ESPN, brought to you by Firestone Tires. Now, we are glad that you're here, and we do just want to address the fact, because it's out there. Were you surprised that you're no longer on the NFL Today on CBS? Because I thought you did a really good job.
I would say not surprised, disappointed.
Okay.
I felt like I had a tremendous opportunity there. I was starting to get my sea legs as I think we were building chemistry. Every year was getting better and better. I was fortunate enough to do a Super Bowl, and I was really excited to work with Phil because we had a relationship on inside the NFL. I was one of the very few guys that can bust his chops, talk about his creatine pecs, talk about all the things that he does. And I feel like we were finally starting to hit our stride. And it was just more disappointing, but I'm very appreciative of the opportunity. And listen, I never put all my eggs in one basket. I go out and I do a financial literacy program with Morgan Stanley. And I always talk about them, tell them about being able to transition, have a smooth transition. You do that by planting seeds at the beginning. And I planted seeds at the beginning. I land on my feet.
Now, are you surprised that your ex-coach is...
Not at all.
ESPN?
Not at
he
all.
Was built for this, right?
First of all, he's built for this. Secondly, he's got $16.5 million still due to him.
Yeah.
He would be foolish to go work for that money. Sit on your butt, collect the extra paycheck, and have fun. It's stress-free. I worked with Cowher, and Cowher was he was pleasant. Right? And that's not the Cowher I remember on the sidelines with the scar, with the chin and all that stuff. It's a stressful situation to be a professional coach or be a coach in general, to have all those responsibilities. And, I'm happy that Rex can step back. I feel like he was underappreciated. I feel like they finally fired the general manager, but I feel like he didn't really have an opportunity to really, when you talk, and Rex should have learned this when he was here in New York, when you talk and you put the bulls on your back, people are waiting for you to fail.
Yep.
And I thought that he would have went there and would have been a little bit more modest and just went according and playing. But
no, he doubled down.
Listen, he doubled down, and that's Rex. He's a gambler, and he lost.
Or is that it for him, you think?
Or did he win? 16.
He might have won.
Man, he might have won.
Well, but coaching is in his soul.
Yeah,
and he wanted to win worse than anybody. And I always took exception. I thought he was a little bit too much of an attention grabber, but I don't think that was his intent necessarily. I think he really felt that this was his best way of getting to the promised land. I think it kills him that he hasn't won that Super Bowl as a head coach. I just wonder now, with New York looking like a failure, which is a shame. Back-to-back championship games, nothing to sneeze at, especially for the Jets. But the way it ended there, the way it didn't work in Buffalo, I wonder if he gets a second chance, a third chance.
They really didn't give him an opportunity for it to work in Buffalo. But it's always a method to the madness with Rex. He talks loud so you don't pay attention to the deficiencies of his team. And both teams that he inherited was deficient. Whether it's Mario Williams and his decline or his inability to want to play hard. And you think about Marcel Darius, you give him $100 million, and he says the playbook is too complicated. $100 million, nothing. Chinese arithmetic shouldn't be too hard. But they invested, I feel like, in the wrong players, and that has to come to the general manager as well. But if he does get another opportunity, I think it's going to be at the collegiate level and kind of build that resume back up, much like Pete Carroll, and then come back once some of the stingers off, and be able to get another opportunity. But he has to go about it a different way.
You think Revis can still play?
I think Revis still can play. I think in the right system. I don't think it was a great system in the Ty Bowl system. I think when I was looking at the film, seeing him off 15 yards, that's not Revis. And I feel like what happened is he did have success early in the year. He got beat a couple of times, especially by the kid from Buffalo. And I think for the first time, his confidence was rattled. Revis is still a young guy. You talk about the wrist injury. And I watched a lot of bad communication. I remember being on the show breaking down the film, and I think they got beat on the same type of play, not exactly the same play. We call it speedo, where you have to rely on the other guy to replace the safety and come grab, and I can tell Revis was playing outside position, and that's just something that he's going to always get the blame because he's the closest guy to the ball. People always want to show the Randy Moss play, right when he one hand stuck. Oh, look what he did to Revis. We didn't have a call. We didn't have a defensive call. Revis is one of the best football players I've ever been around. I've been around many. You want to go Ray Lewis, Ed Reed, Terrell Suggs, Trevor Price. I put him up there with them all. And he's a technician. That's why he's able, I think, to continue to play, because he's never going to be out of position, but he has to get the confidence back in himself.
Is the next quarterback or great quarterback for the Jets on the roster, or they still got to wait to find it?
I don't believe so. A tank for the kid at UFC. I think right now it's about
suck for Sam.
Exactly. Right. I think right now what it's all about is really building a culture. right? And I think it was a lot of older players from carryover. Mango goes all the way back to the Eric Mangini era. You think about, all the guys last year that, they got rid of in the offseason. That was Rex Ryan players. You think about Calvin Pryor, that's a Rex Ryan player. I think now this is Todd Bowles' team and McCagnon's team, and they have to take ownership of the records from this point forward. I think they did a last money grab and believing that they can win and throw some money at the problem. But you win in this league by winning in a draft and also being able to develop players. Because the guys that are ready to play in the NFL, are going to go in the first round. I was an undrafted free agent, and I think the genius of Ozzie Newsome has always been that he's been able to find players like myself, whether you want to go with me, even if you want to go with Ed Reed, that was picked at the bottom of the first round, Ray Lewis, Adelius Thomas, Chad Williams, Chester Taylor, the list goes on and on. The great gems are able to find those hidden gems, and we'll see if McCagnon has the juice.
All right, before we talk about the taste of the Jets, you have a son?
Yeah, I do.
Would you allow your kids to play football?
I am the defensive coordinator, actually, for my team's, my son's team.
Are you concerned about head injuries?
You know what? You can't protect kids from everything, right? And most of the concussions come from youth soccer. They taking the headers out. What we were always upset about as a professional athlete isn't that, we knew that they didn't tell us that football was dangerous. I mean, of course we know it's a violent sport. Is that they didn't share the information with us about the process of healing, what you should do afterwards, instead of pushing us out, holding us back, letting the brain recover. I have friends and, who have kids who fall off the jungle jump, who gets concussions, who takes karate and gets, you can't protect kids from everything, but, I think you have to start making decisions for your child if they have had injuries and say, okay, well, you've had too many, we have to shut it down. But as long as you go and he doesn't have any, injuries, we'll play it by ear.
But if your sons could play basketball and baseball, say, at the same level of football.
I swear to God, I wish my son could play baseball. I wish he loved baseball. We can get this guaranteed money. You think LeVar Ball? You think LeVar Ball is something? You ain't seen nothing.
But would you steer him away from football if there was equal talent in another sport?
If he was talented enough, I don't think my son is going to be talented enough to play basketball, but he's going to be a massive person. My wife, who I say is probably going to lock me out, change the locks, is 6 feet. So all my kids,
I'm 6 foot.
Yeah, man. Listen, I stalked her out, man.
Wow.
So
you're not even 6 foot, right?
Whoa, words hurt.
What are you?
I'm 6'2".
Are you okay?
Yeah, well, you're a little taller than me. So you're looking down, though. So you're looking down, so you don't get a good eye.
I'm shrinking, so it might be your size.
Me too, that's what happened. I actually was 6'2". I'm probably like a little bit under 6'1". Now, compression of the spine is real. I played in an era where you had to, early on with Jerome Bennis was still lively, and you took them fullbacks on. But to answer your question, I definitely would, let my son play. And now my youngest may be a better athlete, so I think, I may push him towards basketball or baseball.
Now,
you don't have to be in shape to play baseball.
Absolutely. Well, you got to be in shape.
Yeah, not really.
Look at Aaron Judge. He's in shape. He can play football,
that's
too.
That's admiration. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
A lot of guys, come on, man. These guys don't have to work out. I mean,
pitchers.
It's the easiest training camp in the world.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, if I can do it all over again, I would.
You did all right.
Yeah.
All right, now, Taste of the Jets is tomorrow.
Yes.
It's at Metropolitan Pavilion, 125 West 18th Street. That's in Manhattan. And the Air Force, Army, Coast Guard, Marines, Navy have all been invited to participate in a cook-off on stage with dishes judged by Quincy Enumwa, Buster Screen, and Muhammad Wilkerson. Now, the U.S. Army from the Bronx Recruiting Command is here with us today, and they're going to bring in food. And we have a Jets military liaison, Steve Castleton, and Sergeant First Class Ricardo Ortega, who is a chef, and they brought in some food. You want to narrate this, Bart?
Oh, absolutely, man. I was excited when I saw these guys out here. They look like they're being business. They guarantee me there wasn't any hot pockets underneath that plate. Let's see what we got. You want to explain what we have today?
Today, we got some arroz con gandules and pernil. So it's like rice with pigeon peas, some pork shoulders, and a little bit of lime they put over the meat. But typical dish you'll get down in the Bronx.
I'm definitely going to try this. I just need a fork. It looks very good. Now, Michael doesn't. Michael's basically chicken parm, and that's it.
Right, I'll probably watch these guys eat, so don't take it.
Give it a shot. Come on, Michael.
I don't try things.
Take one for the team.
No.
I heard you were the condiment king, right?
Yeah, that's me. That is me.
You can't go wrong with.
What do you think, Don?
That is outstanding.
Outstanding from Don.
I tell you what, is it turmeric in here or something like that? I smell something.
There's a little bit of sazon, a little Goya in there, homemade, cilantro, some onions.
Oh, this is good. This is good. This is high-quality meat right here, man.
Yeah?
It's high quality.
Well, you can have mine.
Yeah.
Now, Steve Castleton's here. Steve, tell us about this.
Well, the Jets for years have been fantastic when it comes to the military, and they just wanted to bring it up another step this year with their annual Taste of the Jets event. Over the years, the Jets in their Salute to Service games, we've actually done 2 football games last year in Afghanistan. Jets sent jerseys, footballs, things like that over. And they made it great for the military. And every year they keep saying, okay, what can we do different? What can we do more? What can we do different? So this year, with the Taste of the Jets, it became a competition between the branches, who's going to cook the best. Right now, the Army and the Navy is doing the most trash talking.
Right.
And they're saying who's going to cook the best, whatever. So we actually have the branches coming. The Marines are coming. We actually have the Women's Marine Association coming, with a Marine going way back to the Cuban invasion. Is a female Marine coming from that, one from Afghanistan, one from Iraq. They're coming also. And it's just, the Jets, it just blows my mind every year, all the different things they do with the military. We have this year, they're doing a game at Fort Bragg. Special Forces is going to actually play a flag football game. Jets are supplying all the equipment, custom jerseys. They're going to do a flag football game at Norfolk Naval Base in October, where it's the 100th anniversary of the base. And we're doing our annual Turkey Bowl in Afghanistan again this year. So it's great.
Now, Bart, how do people get involved with this? I mean, people are going to want to come to this.
Absolutely. Come out, support, buy some tickets. Listen, last year we raised $37,000. This is my first time hosting. This is my second time hosting, and we're hoping that we can top that, hopefully get over the 50,000 mark. And what better place to start than right here? I hear about your compound. I know you're balling on the budget. We have a little kick-in conversation when we get off the air.
Now, there's a lot of restaurants that are going to be there, too.
Over 20.
Yeah, some of them Tao, Central Park Boathouse, Wayfarer, Park Avenue Tavern, on and on. There's so many of them, so they're going to take part as well. I believe the general admission is $249, and it goes to a great cause to combat hunger. So, and you get to hear Bart Scott host.
Absolutely, man. Listen, you just heard that I don't have a job, so listen, if I don't raise over $50,000, I won't be able to come back. I'll be balling on the budget with you.
You got jokes ready and all that?
Well, I'm improv. I'm ready.
Really? Just off the cuff?
Off the cuff.
I can see that.
Straight off the top.
Yeah. Well, good luck. This should be great.
Yeah,
well,
the food's outstanding.
We wanted the military wanted to give you something so you'd really experience what the military feels like with military food.
Okay.
In honor of your Uncle Danny,
right?
We have an MRE, beef ravioli and meat sauce.
What is an MRE?
Now, we meal ready to eat this on air tomorrow.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Meal ready to eat. You can open it up. There's actually even a heating packet in there. There's dessert in there.
This is where our troops carry.
That's what our troops get.
Wow.
You can open it up, and there's actually the most valuable item in there, the sergeant will tell you, is the hot sauce.
Really?
It's the most valuable. You put that on anything, it kills any taste. And one for you to bring home for your wife, we got a vegetarian lasagna.
Very nice. She'll love
You're going to eat this on air tomorrow, correct? With the hot sauce.
You know what? I'll tell Jody, and she'll eat it, and she'll accept
Yeah, there's no...
You'll take credit for it.
No.
He's just not very experimental with food.
Bart,
Other things, maybe.
I'm gutless. I always have been. I'm gutless.
Listen, I don't eat Nemo, but I'll try it for the truth.
You'll try anything?
I don't eat seafood, so no Nemo,
Me neither.
but I'll try anything else.
See, if it's out of the sea, it's not for me.
Man. Exactly.
Yeah.
Hot sauce and wasabi, it's good.
Wasabi. So I once ate an entire chunk of wasabi. I didn't know what it was.
It's great for allergies.
Did you get the vapors
Oh,
through
my
the nose?
goodness. I was crying.
Opened you up, man.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
It did. My sinuses were never clear. Well, guys, thank you for coming by. Thank you for the food.
Oh, food's awesome. Thank you.
And Bart, I can't wait to see you tomorrow.
My pleasure, man.
We'll be
Congratulations on the show, man.
Thank you. And now you're free to come on whenever you want. You feel like doing 4 hours?
Yeah, I don't
come on with Peter.
I don't have to tweet you guys.
That's
anymore,
right. That's right. Just sit right there, and you can be co-host for a day.
I promise to spit hot fire.
All right.
I would expect nothing else.
That's Bart Scott. Today's opening hour of the Michael K. Show on 98.7 ESPN, brought to you by Firestone Tires. Go get some Firestone destination tires and go do truck stuff. Whatever you drive a Firestone. We'll have Peter Rosenberg actually coming in shortly, so Bart will be able to get a chance to say hello to him. Got some things. We got to take phone calls on the Nick conversation we had. Kay, LaGreca, Scott, and you all around the country on the Yes Network, and you're listening on 98.7 ESPN.